Hi, and welcome to this little presentation that I want to share with you. So I just want to share my screen so that you can see some graphics that will just help you absorb the information a little bit better and faster. Just give me a second. Okay, here we go. So overcome self-sabotage and perform at your highest potential. I'm sure that's something we all want, and I certainly had my fair share of self-sabotage. Sure, you have too. So here's the question I like to ask anyone I work with or anyone who wants to overcome something in their life is, what do you want? Right? We all need a direction. And once we've got a direction, then we can course correct to get there. And then the second question is, why don't you have it yet? And that's when we start to create awareness around the patterns that have been blocking us to move and live the life we want to live and, just perform at our highest level. And this third question is, what have you been told? That usually brings about awareness about the stories that we tell ourselves based on what we have been told in the past. You're not good enough. You can't do that. What makes you think you can achieve that? We all have our own stories or had our own stories. So let me share this with you. I just want to move my screen over there. So your current reality and your desired reality. So that's where you are and where you want to be. Most people that I work with and that I see have a desired reality because they think that it's going to be better in the future. But here's the thing, when we set out to achieve a goal with the idea that the future is going to be better, what is the silent instruction that we're giving to our subconscious mind about the present moment? It's not good enough. So if we plant seeds of the now is not good enough, what do you think is going to grow from that? It's insanity to think that sowing seeds of the now is not good enough and expecting the now to be better in the future. It's just how physics works. It's not possible. So I'm going to show you a little graphic that I drew with my beautiful artwork. But first, I want to tell you the truth about the personal development industry, right? Personal development and even the spiritual development industry makes people believe that they have to fix yourself so that the future will be better, right? And it creates some sort of an obsession. And I see it, people going to one seminar after the next, after the next, after the next, on this hamster wheel of fixing themselves. But what is the instruction that you're giving to your subconscious mind? I'm not good enough. I'm broken. What is your function? What is your true function as a being on this planet? So let me ask you this. If you're made in the image of the Creator, do you think that you're something to be fixed, a riddle to be solved? Or is your purpose to simply create? You see, there's a lot of things happening on the unconscious. So bear with my artwork here. So this is a typical demonstration of what I see and witness all the time. So there's a current reality of not enoughness, of frustration, of lack. I don't have enough. I'm not enough. There's frustration, there's lack. And then we go on this personal development course or seminar or retreat or a workshop with the idea that I'm going to fix myself and that the future is going to be better. You see here, the desired reality is going to be better. And then I'm going to have enoughness and joy and abundance. But what happens is we go on this course saying that the now is not good enough, the future will be better. So we might be motivated and we go on the course and we make some progress. But what happens with an identity? An identity that says, I'm not good enough. You see, the function of the subconscious of the identity is to keep you alive and to preserve itself. So the moment you make enough progress where you actually feel abundant or worthy, because that old identity wants to preserve itself, it will create some form of self-sabotage, behavior, or even an event that will bring you back into that reality of not enoughness, frustration, lack. One step forward, two steps back. Does this resonate with you? Let me move on to the next slide. So the world's greatest manifestors, right? They didn't go on a journey to fix themselves. The personal development industry didn't even exist for that long. If you think of people like Donald Trump, Michael Jackson, they were just focusing on creating, on what they want. And they created all of that while being imperfect, right? They realized that it's not personal. See, the personal development industry makes you believe that it's personal, right? That your chakras must be aligned before you can experience wealth or abundance or joy. It's all nonsense. Anyways, let's move on. So it's all structural. I'm going to explain to you how this works, right? Everything in creation is structural, right? Where in your body, let me see if I've got my elastic band. So I want you to imagine an elastic band, right? There's 2 points in time and space. Now there is tension in the structure. And that structure, this tension, seeks resolution. If you think of an elastic band, it seeks resolution, right? So this is how we create, because energy always flows along the path of least resistance. And a lot of people think I have to do all of this meditating and visualization and mindset. But if you have a glass of water in front of you and you want to try and think and meditate your way into hydration, what's the path of least resistance? Right? You can do that for weeks and maybe create molecules inside of your body that hydrates you. But the path of least resistance might just be to take action. See, this is where a lot of people have lost the balance of creating, right? They think it's all about working on myself instead of just acting. But anyways, once there is structure and how we create structural tension between where we are and where we want to be, right? There's a way to create structural tension. And once we've created that structural tension, it will seek resolution, and it will do so along the path of least resistance. And all we have to do is recode the resistance. And that resistance exists within the identity. And I'm going to show you how that existence came into existence, the resistance. Okay, so this is just another beautiful piece of art that I created. So this middle yellow circle represents your current reality, right? It's where I am now. And this one over here represents where I want to be. So once we've created that structural tension, okay, cool, this is where I am, this is where I want to be. Not that it's going to be better, it's just different. And then we start to move towards that, because remember, tension seeks resolution. Sorry about the beeps. So tension seeks resolution. But what happens is we might have a little belief, right, within our identity on this little circle here. As soon as we make progress towards that desired outcome, this other structural tension will pull us back, and it will do so in the form of self-sabotaging behavior or events. You see how that works? And we might have many opposing beliefs that is not in alignment with our desired outcomes, and that'll keep us on what we call an oscillating structure. I make a bit of progress, I sabotage. Make a bit of progress, something happens. Does that sound familiar? Sure it does. I mean, everyone goes through it. It's actually a unique part of the human existence. Everyone goes through that, but then there is an awakening, and that's what I want to share with you today. So the key is, or not the key, I'd say the combination of things, right, to unlock your fullest potential and overcome self-sabotage is to get into the magnetic moment, right, where the future won't be better anymore when the now is good enough. You see, only when the now is good enough, once we are totally in alignment and in joy and in love with the present moment, then we escape that self-sabotage loop, because we're no more sowing seeds of the now is not good enough and the future will be better, right? So this is called the magnetic moment, and there's a way we get into that magnetic moment, and it's through recalibrating the identity. So this is the journey. This is the hero's journey that I'd like to take you on. So in the beginning, right, regardless of your beliefs, right, I don't want to cross any belief boundaries. So let's just say in the womb, as a fetus, as a little fetus in your mother's womb, right, We're a creative spirit, a pure creative spirit that just has it all. We have safety, we have comfort, we have nutrition, right? So we have it all. Then when we are born, when we enter this physical realm from that place of safety and comfort and nutrition, then we realize suddenly that we don't have it all anymore, right? And we experience trauma. There's trauma in childbirth and there's pain. If you look at a baby, babies cry a lot because they're experiencing pain. It's a sacred process. But to resolve that pain, right, you start forming conclusions about reality to resolve that pain. So what that looks like is, now I don't just have it all anymore, and I have to do something to get nutrition. I have to do something. Usually it's like, scream, to get comfort when I, made a mess. Or I have to do something to get approval from my father, or I have to do something to get approval from my mother. So in making those conclusions, we create beliefs that I'm not good enough just the way I am. I have to do to get, right? And I'm not worthy of love. I have to put on a show to get love, or I'm not capable, so I need someone else to do things for me, or I don't belong. We enter an environment where we're not welcome and we get scolded and we form conclusions that I don't belong, or we feel insignificant. So we create these are the 6 core beliefs, right, that forms the negative identity that just about every human being creates during childhood, during the phase of individuation. So these beliefs create that identity structure, and then life becomes a process in solving that problem. So we're constantly trying to fix ourselves, thinking that there is something wrong with us, believing in these false identities that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not perfect, I'm not capable, I'm not significant, I don't belong, and all of these things, right? So that's where we get on that self-sabotage, oscillating structure that I see so many people get stuck at. So this is the process I want to take you on. It's the shift. It's the awakening, right? The moment you become aware of something, you can change it. So Carl Jung said that the unconscious will control your life, and you will call it fate until you make it conscious, right? So until you make the unconscious conscious, it will control your life and you'll call it fate. You'll just think, oh, this is the way life is, as soon as things start going good, I know that it's going to fall apart. You see, it's just because we're not aware. But now that you're aware of how this identity is created, this root of all self-sabotage, right? You have the power to change it, but you have to act on it. You have to make the decision to get off of that hamster wheel, right? So once you are aware of the process of where the self-sabotage comes from, right? How it creates that identity, that false identity, because it's not really who you are. Then you just recode the resistance to the magnetic moment, to get into the magnetic moment where the now is good enough. I am good enough. Everything is perfect. And from that space, we make true choices, right? We don't choose to manifest things to resolve that old identity. We purely do it because we love to, because then we are living as creators that make true choices. And then we become the predominant creative force in our own lives. And we go back to that space where we just have everything and we can create anything we want because we're in the magnetic moment. I hope that makes sense. So this is the process that I take my clients through. So it's a 8 to 12 week process. It all depends on each individual, where we start by getting into the right structure, getting into that magnetic moment, right? We recode the resistance step by step. We recalibrate the identity. Then we do a general negativity clearing, right? Where we cleanse the negativity from the mind and from the body, the negativity that we know about and the negativity that we don't know about. Then we start clearing and recalibrating specific negative core beliefs. See, there are certain beliefs that have safety mechanisms attached to it, that is there to keep us safe, to prevent us from experiencing pain again. But because those beliefs, that information is outdated, it can actually prevent us from achieving our deepest desires. So it creates these self-sabotaging loops. What we then do is we install the default driver states that propel us forward instead of holding us back. See, these aren't emotional states. These are driver states: playfulness, curiosity, certainty, and relentlessness. We install those as a driver state, and we anchor it in so that you can recall and rewire your neurology to be propelled forward. We also recode the internal dialogue. We recreate that internal voice to build you up instead of break you down. We do something called the temporal edit, where we go and we change the way that you look at your past. We remove those negative emotional charges so that when you look at your past, you see it in only ways that empower you and make your life better. And we've got a very special process called the superconscious recode, which is creating structural tension, then recoding the resistance so that tension seeks resolution, and you just become it. You become that identity that already has the results that you want. What we then do is we take these entire complex of installations and we install it on a genetic and spiritual level. We go into the template level of reality. We call it the non-local universe. That's what quantum physicists call it. Bruce Lipton speaks about epigenetics, and we rewrite the genetic coding with all of these processes on a genetic deep blueprint level that shifts your identity, and your identity is basically the foundation of your reality, right? Your identity determines the quality of your thoughts. The quality of your thoughts determine the quality of your actions, which in turn determines your results in life. So I hope that makes sense to you. So what happened is when I was introduced to this, when I started recoding my identity, I just felt light. I was no more trying to solve this old identity of trying to be good enough and trying to be worthy and capable. I'm just enjoying most of the time. I'm not saying life doesn't have its challenges, but I don't think we came here for an easy life. So imagine reading a book and coming through the first chapter, 2 chapters, 3 chapters, and everything's just hunky-dory all the time. You'd stop reading it. So we're here for challenge, because in challenge lies the growth. So ideas and opportunities are literally never ending for me now. It's like success doesn't want to leave me alone. Anyone can do it because it's not personal. Remember, it's just structural. And when you understand the structure, you can create whatever you want. So this is just, I share this to show you, not just I have done it, that I take clients through this process, and anyone can do it. So this is from Megan. She's a business coach. This is what she had to say. These are her words. This process has been nothing short of mind-blowing. The biggest gift of all wasn't the increased flow, ease, and wealth. It was being able to see myself with more love and compassion than I'd ever thought possible. So I love sharing this. I love celebrating the victories of my clients, because I know what it feels like when you finally step off that hamster wheel and actually start to live. And I think I got one more on here. This is Jono. This is a client who became a friend. This morning I said to Jason is his business partner, today's going to define the rest of our lives. And we just closed our first RPA deal with close to $1 million. It's unbelievable the difference this has made in just a few weeks. Thank you. I actually remember receiving this voice note, and it's one of my favorite testimonials, because I know where these guys were in their business and in their life, and getting stuff like this, for me, I feel if I don't share it, then people don't see the power in the process that I facilitate and I take people through. So here's the question. Are you ready to overcome self-sabotage and perform at your highest level? If that's a yes, but another question, it's, are you ready to actually take action and embark on that journey into your true nature and purpose as a creator? If that's a yes, if you're ready to take action, you can check out my website. It's www.theconsciouswifi.com. You can just scroll to the bottom of the homepage and apply for a strategy session with me on if you're a successful applicant, then we can get on a call to see if we'd be a good fit to work together. Hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I'll see you at the top.